What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report for Friday, December 9th. So we have some shocking news today. A senator is planning to leave the Democratic Party. I will address that in just a second. We're also going to talk about the new PPI report that came out just this morning and how there is some good news there, but also a little bit of bad news. So I will address that at the end of this video as well. First, let's talk about it. The Democratic, or used to former Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema has decided to leave the Democratic Party. She announced that this morning. She is now going to be an independent. This is big. This is somewhat shocking because Democrats were very excited that they had a 51 vote majority. They are now technically 50-50, and we still don't know what Senator Kyrsten Sinema's plan is moving forward. But just earlier this week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer did this. He was so excited, he was so happy that Democrats had 51 seats in the Senate. Now, we don't know. But first, let's address that. What is going on? Well, in a statement just this morning, Senator Kyrsten Sinema, she said that she is not going to caucus with Republicans, but she didn't state whether she's going to caucus with Democrats or she will be a true independent. We do know that the other two independents, that is Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont and Senator Angus King from, I believe, Maine, they both caucus with Democrats. Now, this is potentially a huge loss to Democrats moving forward. And I say this because before this morning, we were under the impression that Democrats are going to have 51 seats in the Senate, which meant that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer didn't have to get all 50 or 100% of his caucus on board to pass a bill under a simple majority. He only had to get 50 out of his 51, which meant one person could be left out. Well, remember before today, that was Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Senator Joe Manchin. They were the two always being left out, deciding should they vote with Democrats or do they vote with Republicans and stick to what they believed in. Well, in most cases over the past 2 years, it was the latter. They stuck with what they believed in, not just voted with Democrats because they were a Democrat. Okay? And a lot of people say they're Democrat in name only, a dino. Possibly. Well, for Senator Kyrsten Sinema, that's not the case anymore. But here's what I can tell you. If Democrats don't have 51 seats, and Senator Kyrsten Sinema, she is going to vote, with wherever she believes. The problem there is they still have to go back to Senator Joe Manchin. As of yesterday, Senator Joe Manchin had a lot less power than he did over the past 2 years. Now, that power essentially comes right back. So we're going to see what happens with that. But again, this is shocking news. And it's not shocking because we thought Senator Kyrsten Sinema was a true Democrat. I don't think anybody believed that. But the timing of this. She waited until right after Democrats won, still remained in control over the Senate with the senator out of Georgia, Raphael Warnock. Being that he won, Democrats had a 51-49 seat majority. Now, we were pretty much at 50-49, and we're still waiting to see where she sides. So, as soon as I get more information on that, I promise I will fill you in on that news. But Senator Kyrsten Sinema said this morning. Becoming an independent won't change my work in the Senate. My service to Arizona remains the same. She's not going to change. The only thing that changed is pretty much her affiliation. That's it. Now, and I don't think it's surprising that she came out and said that she's going to be an independent, because over the past 2 years, her and Senator Joe Manchin have constantly held up legislation because they were trying to attempt to get a bipartisan deal. And she made it very clear that is still her goal. Both her and Senator Joe Manchin plan to do this over the next couple years as well. Now, here's one thing I can tell you. This is just coming out, so there's still a lot of things we need to understand. But once we have an idea if she's going to caucus with Democrats or independents, that's going to change things. So as soon as we know more information on that, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news as soon as we get it. Now, let's address where prices are headed based off of the PPI report. That's the Producer Price Index. Came out this morning. First, the Producer Price Index. This is going to give us a good indication of what's going to happen as far as prices, but regarding inflation. The expectation for this month was the PPI report month over month was going to increase by 0.2%, and core was going to be 0.2% as well versus last month where we were at 0. Okay. Year over year PPI was expected to be at 7.2%. Last month it was at 8%. Now let's talk about what it actually came in at, because this is where again we're going to see the big changes. PPI came in at 0.3%, and actually last month it was revised up to 0.3% as well. So we're right there, with last month. Year over year, we were at 7.4%, excuse me, and again, PPI was expected to be at 7.2, so we actually are up, right? We're a little hotter than expected, but this is where people say this is the good news, is that last month it was at 8%. Now it's at 7.4, which means it's coming down. We're trending down, and that's the good news. Core PPI, this is less food and energy. This came in at 6.2%. Again, we're trending down. So even though we're slightly higher than expectations, we are trending downward, and that's considered really good news. All right? We may not be hitting the low numbers that we were wanting to in the past, but we are coming down. Again, that's the key. As long as we continue to trend down over and over and over again, we will eventually get there. Again, it's just going to take some time. Now, one thing that the PPI report said is that 1/3 of the November decline in the index for processed goods for immediate demand can be attributed to prices of diesel fuel, which fell 4.5%. That's an exact statement from the Producer Price Index report that came out this morning. But here's the worry. The worry is that now fuel prices are projected to go up. And they're projected to go up for a couple of reasons. The most recent one is because of the leak in the Keystone Pipeline. But the bigger one is the cap on prices for Russian oil. That's considered to be the biggest issue and potentially going to push all fuel prices up. So we will see what happens there. But again, as soon as we get more information on what's going on there, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But at least for now, this is considered good news that the PPI report is showing that we are trending downward. The only bad news is, as far as the Senate is concerned, and really Congress in general, is where does Senator Kyrsten Sinema side? Is she going to caucus with Democrats to give them that 51 to 49 majority, or is she going to side with independents, stay right in the middle, and we will be at 50 to 49? Well, we will find out very soon, and as soon as we get more information, I'll bring you that update as soon as possible. So again, thank you guys for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.